and welcome back to my channel. So today what we've got going on is my April wrap up and my May TBR. I wanted to combine the two just because it saves time, saves a little bit of editing, and yeah, why not just combine them, because yeah, that's just what I want to do. So we're gonna do it that way. Can you not? So how this is going to work is I'm going to talk about only some of the books I read this month. I'm going to tell you all of the books I read, but I'm not going to go into detail about all of them because I read 14 books this month and that's a lot to talk about, plus a TBR, so we're going to keep it simple. I'm only going to talk about the ones, one, that I remember what they're about, and two, the ones I actually enjoyed. Alright, so the first book I read in April was The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson. And I listened to that on audio. It is a horror book, and it's very dark and very creepy. So if you're not into like really hardcore, wow, this is really deep and dark, then I wouldn't recommend it. But it's very interesting. And yes, it's super dark, but at the same time it was very intriguing. Basically, it's about this guy who kidnaps all these girls and turns them into his butterflies. So he tattoos butterfly wings on all of their backs, and he's keeping them in his home garden, like on his property that he made. And basically it's about these girls surviving and all that he does to them, and it's not very good. I gave it 5 stars just because it was just intriguing. Like, it, in a dark way, it just sucks you in and you have to keep reading, and in my case listening. So that's what I did. And second book I read was The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which I read for 3 Blondes in a Book Club, and it was really good. It's cute, middle grade fantasy. Hi, hello, future Kayla. Please ignore the red mark on my neck. I have sensitive skin, and when I scratch it, it gets irritated. Thanks! It's not one that I particularly remember in great detail, but it's about this girl who is living with a witch, and she's not aware that she is a witch, and the girl also isn't aware that she has magic, because it doesn't start to come up until she turns 13. So as she's getting closer to turning 13, stuff keeps happening and she's realizing what's going on, and she kind of just goes on this journey to figuring out who she is and where she comes from. So it was good. I gave it 4 stars. It is a good middle grade book, so if you enjoy middle grade, definitely check that one out. I don't read a lot of middle grade, so I still don't really know how I feel about it, like the genre in a whole. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The third book I read was Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. I gave it 4 stars. Listened to it on audio. I enjoyed it. I don't remember what it was about. I read so many thrillers that it's just kind of like they all run together at some point. And that's one that ran together. The fourth book I read was Never Will Wake by Marisha Pessl. Did I say that right? Marisha Pessl. Anyways, I read this. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's hard to describe without giving too much away of what this book is, but I really enjoyed it. I would describe it as a contemporary novel with a magical twist. I feel like that's a good description. But I really enjoyed this. The writing is super, and it says on the back, or it's blurbed somewhere, maybe on Goodreads, that it's sophisticated writing style, and I totally agree. So if you like learning new words, which I feel like I did in this book, I would recommend this one. But I would recommend this book to almost anyone because I feel like everyone would like it. So yeah, I really enjoyed reading this book this month. Highly recommend this one. The 5th book I read was Mockingjay. It's a reread, obviously. Everyone knows what this is about. I'm not going to explain it. Gave it 5 stars, of course. I've been doing a read-along, reading the series every month leading up to this month, May, which is the new release. So I really enjoyed this reread. These books got me out of a slump so many times over the past 3 months, especially in April. This one is what kept me hanging on, because this whole pandemic thing was just a lot and I didn't really feel like reading sometimes. So I listened to it on audio as well as reading the physical copy, and I really enjoyed my experience. The audiobooks are actually really good. I really liked them. So 5 stars, of course. The next book I read was The Diviners by Olivia Bray, and I have such mixed feelings about this book. I really enjoyed it. It's a thick book, like it's chunky. I liked it, but at the same time I felt like it was dragging in the middle. Like most of the book I felt was kind of unnecessary, but at the same time it was entertaining. I gave it 3.5 stars, so not too bad, but wasn't my absolute favorite. I think I will still continue on just because I really am interested to see where the series can go after this book. So yeah, I'll probably keep continuing on. The next book I read, Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman, and I gave this book 3 stars. It's a thriller, domestic thriller about this couple who just got married, and the whole plot is established on their honeymoon basically, and they find something in the water and it's an adventure on through there. I also think this book kind of dragged a little bit. I felt like it could have been, I mean, it's still short, but at the same time I felt like it didn't need as much as it had. But the writing style was really something I loved. It felt like you were inside the narrator's head and knowing all her thoughts. So that was really entertaining. The next book I read was The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. I gave this book 4 stars. I listened to it on audio and it was amazing. Like pure domestic thriller between a husband and a wife, and then this lady that comes along, and she just kind of wants to make everyone do what she wants, and she's manipulative and crazy. But the twist was so good. So I would highly recommend that book if you haven't read it. Also, the audiobook was really, really good. I really enjoyed listening to it. I was like, I'd play a lot of Switch while listening to it. I was like, oh, what? So it was just pleasurable. It was just an entertaining read. And the next book I read, which is another reread, is going to be The Cruel Prince. 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. I'm not going to talk about it because you guys already know how much I love it. I started a reread for my birthday because I wanted to read a book I loved on my birthday, and that's what I did. So I read The Cruel Prince. I annotated it. Here, you can see it now. So I annotated it, and wow, there is a ton of foreshadowing in this book. After reading the entire series, I know what to look for, and I probably have at least 10 purple tabs, which is foreshadowing. I honestly think I love this book more rereading it. It can't get any better because it's already 5 stars, but like, it was just so enjoyable. I loved it. Also, this is actually funny. I got it signed at Y'all Fest. I'm wearing the shirt. But yeah, so I got to meet Holly Black, and she was so sweet. I told her that my mom, my grandma, loved the series, and she loved hearing that. She thought it was super cool that I got my mom and my grandma to read them and love them. So she's a very nice lady. I enjoyed meeting her. And the next book I read, which is my most favorite book I read this month, is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I uploaded a vlog about it, so go watch it if you guys haven't already seen it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Only reason it didn't get 5 stars is because there was just some parts that I was like, questionable word choice and phrasing, and sometimes it dragged, but not a whole lot in my opinion. I loved the world. I loved Feyre. I loved Lucian. I think it's Lucian. I don't know if it's Lucian. I'm pretty sure it's Lucian. Okay, we're gonna call him Lucian. I loved Lucian. He was probably my favorite character in the entire book. I hope he's in the next two because I need more of him. He was so funny. So yeah, highly recommend this book. There's the rest of the series right there. I can't wait to get to the next two. I buddy read this with Olivia. It was great. We both enjoyed it. I liked it more. She's already read another Sarah J. Maas book, which is Thrown in Glass, and I haven't read anything else except this one, so I think that made me like it a little bit more. But yes, if you haven't already read this book, please go read it. It's so good. And the next book I read, which was on audio, is The Selection by Kiera Cass. I read this just because I needed something to listen to. I needed something to motivate me to do the dishes, and audiobooks are literally the only reason I do the dishes. I hate doing the dishes. We don't have a dishwasher, so we have to hand wash, and it takes so much time. So I was like, I need a book to listen to, and I put a poll on Instagram saying, hey, should I read The Selection? Is it good? Is it bad? And everyone was like, yes, read it. So I did, and I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't bad. Again, it's an older series, so that's probably why I didn't like it too much now, but it was highly entertaining and fun, so no complaints here. I really liked it. Then I read the second one right after, which was The Elite, and also gave that one 3 stars. Also super good. It's books like you want to continue on because of how the previous book left off, so I had to keep going. And then I read the third book in the series I read this month, well, in April, and I gave that one 4 stars because there was just a lot that happened in that book to make it 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. And the last book I read this month, which is going to be the juiciest topic of this video, I'm sure. Y'all are gonna hate me, but that book is coming at the 14th book I read this month, Crooked Kingdom. Yay. I gave this book 1 star. I hated it. I have never disliked a book as much in my entire life as this one. Because Six of Crows was amazing, and I highly recommend that book to everyone, for this to be the sequel was a joke, okay? Absolutely nothing happened. Nothing. I can even tell you what happened in the 430 pages before the last 100 pages of this book. The last 100 pages of the book is actually when things happened, and honestly, that's the only reason it got 1 star, because if I could give a book 0 stars, I would have given this book because it was that much of a disappointment. You can't tell me that this book had a plot. Okay, in the first book, they went on this amazing heist and broke into this really elaborate building. And the plot of this book was an auction. What? And it just infuriates me. It was so terrible. And I'm sorry if you, and for those people that say that this book is better than Six Crows, you are literally delusional, okay? No, this book is not better than Six Crows in any way possible. And that's facts. So, wrapping that portion up of this video on a great note, I read 14 books, and that is a total of 4,901 pages. I read 5 audiobooks, 8 physical books, and yeah, quarantine life, am I right? Because 14 books is a lot. Anyways, so the next portion of this video is going to be my May TBR. So let's jump right into that. Alright, so for my May TBR, I'm kind of leaving it just a tad bit open just because I am a huge mood reader, especially right now because I don't know what mood I'm going to be in tomorrow. You know, just staying home all day, doing nothing, so I want to read, but my mood changes so much about what I want to read, so I'm just gonna leave it open. These are possibilities. This is my May possibility to be read, so you know. First book I honestly really need to get to is They Went Left by Monica Hess, I think. I received an ARC of this and it came out on April 20th. I still haven't read it, but it's a YA historical fiction based after the events of World War II, following the sister and her brother. They survived World War II when their parents didn't. Their parents were sadly sent to the gas chamber, and her and her brother were not sent to it. And I heard actually this is like a very light-hearted book, which is interesting and ironic. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people say it's kind of funny and just lighthearted and not as dark as you would think it would be. So that's good. Yeah, so I need to read this. The next book I plan on reading is American Royals by Katharine McGee. And I've had this book for a while now. I really need to read it. There's a really funny story about this book, so that's for another video because it'll take a while. But it's pretty funny. Anyways, another historical romance. So I'm excited for this one to be I'm excited for this one and a little romance in my month. But basically all I know is the princess, she is a descendant of George Washington, and the George Washington line is still on the throne, and it's about her finding a prince, and I know it's between two princes, so we love a good selection. But this will be my go-to when I need a fluffy, just cute book. So yes, the next book I will for sure be reading no matter what is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, or A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Anyways, the new Suzanne Collins book, the prequel to the Hunger Games. The whole reason I reread the series was for this moment, and I'm so excited. It comes out May 19th, so whatever day today is. But I'm really excited to read that book. It's been a long time coming, and Suzanne Collins is really making this whole quarantine 50 million times better. It's perfect timing for me. So I can already tell it'll be a 5-star read. I mean, it could be bad, and I still think I'd give it 5 stars because it's Suzanne Collins. So the next book I want to read in May is going to be A Court of Mist and Fury, and probably A Court of Wings and Ruin too, just because I know I'm going to be obsessed after reading this book. Like, I've heard this is the best one in the entire trilogy, and I'm gonna want to read the third one after this. But she's thick. She's a thick little baby. But same thing. I know I'm gonna be obsessed with it and gonna buddy read it with Olivia. Again, we will be reading the third one together also, and I know she really wants to read them back to back, so I mean, I'm not complaining. Let's do it. But for now, I'm gonna put this one on my May TBR only because it's really big. And speaking of Olivia, I am going to be reading Radio Silence, which her, Zoe, and Kaylin have their 3 Blondes in a Book club that they host every month. And the book for May is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. And I've wanted to read this book for years. I've seen it, even like when I was in high school and middle school. Well, middle school might be a stretch, but I would see it everywhere and want to read it. So I'm really excited to finally get to it. I don't know what it's about. All I know is everyone loves it. So I know it's a contemporary, and that's all I really need to know. So I will be getting to that one this month too, for sure. Another book I have on my TBR that I plan on getting to is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. And I love Lisa Jewell so much. She's my favorite thriller author, and I mean, she's just so good at writing thrillers. Every book I've read from her I've loved, and they've all been extremely different. That's a lie. I read The Girls in the Garden and I wasn't a fan of that one. But every other book I have enjoyed, so I know I'm gonna love this one. This is her newest release. I'm just so excited. I just love Lisa Joel so much. And that's all the books that I have on my TBR. I will read more most likely. I just don't know what I'm gonna be in the mood for. But those are the ones I'm most likely to read. Hopefully. Anyways, that's all I got for today, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you in my next one, and let me know what you want to see next. I really enjoyed making the vlog, so I'm always down for making more reading vlogs, but y'all just let me know what you like, and I'll see what I can do. So yeah, that's it. Bye!